There is a quiet fear many of us carry. What if I change my mind? About a career, about a city, a dream, a version of ourselves we once swore we would become. We are told that strong people are clear, consistent, unshakable. That once you choose a path, you should walk it no matter what. So when a new feeling appears, a doubt, a pull in a different direction, a whisper that says, this no longer fits, we don't just feel uncertain, we feel guilty. We talk a lot about finding ourselves, but rarely do we admit that the self we find at 18 is not the same self we will carry at 25, 35, 45. Of course it isn't. You have seen more, loved more, lost more, failed more, learned more. You are not a statue meant to stay in one perfect pose forever. You are a living thing. You are supposed to grow. Think about an old dream you used to have. Maybe it was a specific job. Maybe it was a kind of love. Maybe it was an image of success we talked about in an earlier episode. At that time, that dream made sense. It gave you direction when you needed it. It pulled you through boring days and hard seasons. There is nothing wrong with that. But sometimes, a strange thing happens. You finally reach some version of that dream, or come close enough to touch it, and it doesn't feel like you thought it would. The job leaves you empty. The relationship leaves you small. The lifestyle drains you. Changing your mind is often painted as weakness. Can't you commit? Why are you so confused? You wanted this so badly. What happened? We forget how much courage it takes to update your direction in public, especially in a world that loves to say, but you said, as if the person who said it has not lived through countless days and nights since then, as if your word from 5 years ago must be more sacred than your truth from today. So, how do you know if you are changing your mind from truth or just escaping from fear? You can begin with a few questions. When you imagine continuing on this path, what kind of tired do you feel? Is it the tired of meaningful effort, like a muscle that has worked well? Or the tired of constant self betrayal, like a voice inside you getting hoarse from saying no and never being heard? When you think about stopping, does your body feel a little lighter, even beneath the fear? Is there a small sense of relief hiding under the anxiety? These hints don't give you instant clarity, but they are signs worth listening to. If you realize that a dream, a belief, or an identity no longer fits, grief will almost always walk in beside the relief. You might grieve the time, the money, the energy you invested. You might grieve the story you told other people about who you are. You might grieve the version of the future you had built in your head. Let yourself. Changing your mind does not mean your past effort was meaningless. It means you are updating your direction based on what you know now. The road you walked still strengthened your legs, even if you decide to turn a corner today. There is also the question of identity. So if I'm not this, who am I? If you were the responsible one, the strong one, the loyal one, the always available one, and you start saying no, changing careers, ending patterns, people around you might feel confused, threatened, or disappointed. They might say, you've changed, and not mean it as a compliment. In those moments, remember, their discomfort does not automatically mean your decision is wrong. It might simply mean they were benefiting from the older version of you who never questioned the role you played. You are allowed to outgrow the scripts that keep you small, even if it surprises people who were used to the old lines. If you're listening to this and you feel that quiet pull towards a different job, a different way of living, a different way of loving, a different way of being with yourself, I'm not here to tell you exactly what to do. I'm here to tell you you're not crazy for feeling it. You're not a traitor for evolving. You're not a failure for updating your yes and your no as you meet new versions of your own heart. You are a human being in motion. You are allowed to change your mind. Thank you for sitting with this tender topic, especially if you are standing near a crossroads in your own life. If you can, take a few minutes today to write down one thing you once wanted that no longer fits, and one thing you're secretly curious about now, even if you're not ready to say it out loud. You don't have to act on it yet. Just telling yourself the truth is a beginning. In another episode, Trusting Slow Seasons, we'll talk about choosing not to call yourself a failure just because your life is not sprinting. It means believing that roots are also progress, that rest is also work, that staying is sometimes as brave as leaping.